Yes, people, and welcome back to another video on the Bridge YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. I'm your host of the most, the Bridge 258, here today to discuss Chelsea versus Newcastle quarter-final at Stamford Bridge, if I'm not mistaken, for the Carabao Cup quarter-final. Here we go. Now, as always, we'll start with the opposition, and that is Newcastle. Obviously, Newcastle, they've just been recently kicked out of the UCL, having come last in the group of death. Obviously, there's a bit of pressure now on Eddie Howe in regards to that one. In the league, they're still doing well. If I'm not mistaken, they're still somewhere in the top six. I think, if I'm not mistaken, about fifth or sixth, if I'm not mistaken, for Newcastle currently. In addition to that, obviously, they won their last game against Fulham by quite a considerable amount. Although they do have quite a lot of injuries currently going on. So, obviously, Isak apparently is currently out. Trippier is out, if I'm not mistaken. Who is the other guy that I was remembering? Almiron is also out as well. Callum Wilson, if I'm not mistaken, is also out. Harvey Barnes still out. Manquillo, Jacob Murphy, and Elliot Anderson still out. Target is going to be out for a while. Obviously, we know that both Tonali and Pope are going to be out for a very, very long time. So yeah, man, I'm expecting us to face quite a weakened Newcastle side, to say the very least. I would also think, this is a big game for Chelsea, but we'll get to that when I reach the Chelsea side of the equation as well. But again, when you look at Newcastle, this is maybe an important game for them. Obviously, they came in the final of this Carabao Cup, which they lost to Manchester United because of the fact that, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Pep was injured and Dubravka was cup tied because he had been on Manchester United alone. But obviously, they lost that tie, if I'm not mistaken, 2-0 to United. So maybe they'll feel like they can get another chance here, win a trophy here. Obviously, they didn't do so on the UCL, but this could be their chance to re-win another trophy. And considering the competition that's currently available in and around the Carabao Cup, not that many Premier League teams, maybe early Liverpool's really remaining, Chelsea obviously here, and Newcastle. And after that, man, you've got a really big shot of just reaching the final and possibly getting the trophy there. So I think for them it's quite a big cup too, in a way. If I'm being honest as well. So again, we'll see about what they come up with, but I do expect them to have some sort of a side. I do believe the team probably is going to be Dubravka. I feel like they might be playing that. They might play Lewis Hall, obviously, because they'd gone special dispensation for him to play. So obviously that might be happening as well. So again, you never know what's going to happen there, but I think they're going to play quite a strong side, in my personal opinion. So now let's move on to the Chelsea side. Now, in regards to Chelsea, in terms of like this game, I think this is quite a very, very important game for us. Personally, I'm of the school of thought, if you are still going to be continuing with Poch post this period, even though I do believe that we should really be sacking him at this point, then he needs to win this game. For me, this is probably your best chance of getting any form of Europe, because of the fact that, as many people will know, if you get the Carabao Cup, if you win the Carabao Cup, you get an automatic Conference League. Automatically you get Conference League, so you will get at least some form of Europe for your team. So at the very least, man, this is the best option for you to at least get the minimum level of European football, which is obviously the Conference League currently. In addition to that, it is also a good thing for a lot of our young players. Young players, obviously, they're quite young, haven't really tasted that too well. It'll be a good starting option, a good standard setter to know, how to win a trophy. So this is why, for me, winning this quarterfinal is very key. Also helps to really, do a bunch of team bonding as well. So, there's a lot of key reasons for this to be taking place. Because if you don't believe, like myself, that we're gonna get any Europe with the way we're currently moving and everything like that, and we're just going to end up again in 10th or 12th, then, this is probably, other than the FA Cup, your best opportunity to be getting Europe. So, tic-tac. And obviously with the fact that the coefficient thing has basically been totally busted because both Newcastle and United got kicked out of Europe completely, they didn't even get Europa League ball, then, it is really up to us as Chelsea, up to us to really win one of these one of these league cups and everything. So this is why, for me, it's very key in general. But now, in regards to some of the Poch comments, he's talked about Nkunku may come on for another 20 minutes or so. I just call bullshit on that. He's not starting, man. You know what I mean? He's just here to be a happy face for the fans to get excited. But maybe he might not. So he's not playing, definitely, for sure. I can tell you that even off the bench, I don't believe he's going to play for sure. I have a sneaky suspicion that his first game is probably going to be against Preston, which I believe it's not this week, but the week after, if I'm not mistaken. So get ready for that one, in my personal opinion. So there's that one for sure to consider. Now, in regards to what I believe is gonna take place in terms of like squad and everything, probably Chelsea's gonna go for a bit more of a stronger squad. There's not that much rotation you can do. I'm not sure if Gusto's gonna be Gusto's back in training, but I don't know if he's fully fit or not to be starting this match. So and the way Pochettino's been speaking about, he isn't really spoken about him either. So we'll see. So we're gonna probably have 4 centre backs at the back as usual, and Petrovic is the only goalkeeper available currently. I think if I'm not mistaken, the third goalkeeper, Bettinelli's still not ready yet, so it's probably gonna be Petrovic. So it's gonna be Petrovic in goal. Obviously Levi Colwill, back to Badiashile, Thiago Silva, and then Disasi as your right back. I think Enzo's gonna come back into the squad for this game, so it'll be Enzo Caicedo pivot, Gallagher in the 10, and then you would probably I think I'd have the same strike force. Or maybe not. You might have a Mudryk, Jackson, and then you probably might have a Sterling, or you have a Sterling, Jackson, and then Palmer up front. That's probably what you're looking at going up top in terms of the formation. Now, in regards to the scoreline and what I think will happen, I don't really have any hope on this one. I feel like they could actually beat us in this game, and the way Pod is talking about it, saying that he said today in a Daily Mail to the reporter that winning the Carabao Cup does not make me elite. Now I agree with him to an extent that winning the Carabao Cup doesn't make you elite, but being a trophy winner in general does make you elite. That does make you elite. So if he doesn't even consider winning trophies elite, that's a big problem, bro. That's just very much a low tier mentality. You have to win trophies in order for you to become elite, whether you like it or not. So this cup tie is extremely important, and he knows it too. So let's not kid ourselves here, please. Let's not kid ourselves here. So when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, I would prefer Gusto to be starting, but like again, with what's happened to Reece James, I can't, we can't hope for anything to happen there. Obviously, Levi Colwill starting left back is because of the fact that Chilwell is still out, and Nkunku is out until February, if I'm not mistaken. So you don't got no hope there at all in terms of fullbacks to be playing with. So our wingers are going to be quite, in my opinion, repressed. Not going to have anyone overlapping them to provide some extra width or an extra option to get that fullback, off their back slightly. So it's going to be quite difficult from that perspective. Obviously Enzo got dropped, in my personal opinion, didn't get arrested. That's absolute nonsense in my opinion. He got dropped. So it's going to be interesting to see, can he re-rise to the challenge and show Poche he don't know ball, which I hope he does. But we'll see if that happens. Obviously Caicedo had I think one of the better performances in the game, but let's hope he can do something better in this game. Hopefully we can make some passes together. You know what I mean? We can make more than 4 passes. We can make 4 passes in a row together, and not be able to, how shall I say, not make 4 passes together. You know what I mean? That's something that I'm really looking forward to maybe seeing. But I say looking forward to and hoping, but as I say, man, hoping and praying ain't gonna solve anything. You know what I'm saying to you? Hope and prayer can only work if you're doing the thing yourself. But we'll see what happens there at the end of the day. But in regards to that scoreline, as I said to you guys before, I am of the belief that probably Chelsea's going to lose this game, probably 2-0 in my personal opinion. Now, that might sound very pessimistic from me. You might be saying, Ahmed Abdi, how can you be, not respecting the team? How can you say your team's going to lose? I'm just looking at it from, again, a slightly objective point of view, which is that we're not really playing that well. If you've been honest against the Newcastle, Sheffield United game, there was that 20-minute spell where we started playing really well, but I didn't feel like that game was something to call home about, something that was mesmerizing, something that really showed that we were coming back into form, we had the tactics and everything on lock. So anyone that tells that to you, they're lying to you. I just want you to know that personally, they're lying to you. So, and that's coming from me. Now, in regards to what I think will probably happen in the game, I think obviously we'll do a little thing and everything like that, but I think Newcastle are going to be very resolute, play that. I think they may be playing actually a low block style of play against us. And because of that, we're gonna be put on to doing that attacking impotence, and guess what? We're impotent going forward. So when it comes to against low blocks, so when that happens, man, we're in big trouble. We are in big trouble. And I'll be honest, the decision making, particularly in that first half against Sheffield United, if you looked at it, was poor, and it was very reminiscent of all of our previous performances against these other teams. So things to be worried about there for sure. Things to be definitely worried about there for sure. And particularly when you're facing, a weaker Newcastle side, which should be a must-win for you guys, and your attacking impotence means that you're impotent, then you're in big trouble. But guys, that is the video as always. Please continue to like, share, subscribe. Hopefully, you know, maybe you can win. You know, and if you win, I'm very happy, bro. I'll be happy over the moon. Obviously, onto the semi-finals, you know, and hopefully onto the finals, man. And maybe this is the way to get Europe. As I said to you before, this is more and more likely looking like the way for us to get Europe anyway. So let's hope that can happen. But hey, as usual, I've been your host, the most, the Bridge 258. Dedicate your hearts, and as always, make sure to stay blue. Love.